Kiwis pride themselves over New Zealand's clean and beautiful environment, but the effects of infrastructure and land development, if not carried out responsibly, can have a detrimental impact on our freshwater ecosystems and estuarine environments. New Zealand leads the world with our guidelines and regulations in relation to minimising the effects of sediment discharge from land disturbing activities. However, our steep topography, varying soil types, high seasonal rainfall and proximity to pristine waterways can often make achieving environmental compliance extremely challenging. As our population grows, environmental protection is becoming ever more important to protect our country for future generations. So rather than being the ones adding to the problem, we want to be part of the solution. At Cirtex, we have a dedicated team to deliver and support our erosion and sediment control solutions, in line with and often going beyond our regional and national guidelines. This is the Cirtex CTMP journey. Across significant projects all over New Zealand, there will be conditions around minimising sediment discharge from your site. This will likely involve water clarity checks like turbidity or potentially total suspended solids, as well as additional parameters like pH levels or analysis of contaminant levels. And how will you meet these conditions? Well, this is where your Cirtex CTMP journey begins. Normally what council require as part of a consent condition is what is known as a flocculant management plan, or a CTMP, a chemical treatment management plan. Now, you could go searching on the dark web, but a much easier way is to come to Cirtex and just say, hey, we'd like a CTMP done. How do we go about it? From the very beginning, Cirtex will be there to support you through this process. Firstly, we'll get you to provide us with some information and context around what the job is and where it's based. We'll also ask you to provide documentation like erosion sediment control plans, which tell us things like the number and size of catchment areas, as well as any treatment methodologies that are proposed on that plan, as well as specific council consent requirements to consider. We'll give you a sample submission form in return, which acts like a big checklist and includes making sure you have purchase orders and everything else in order before we begin. This helps to get your sample analysis back to you as quickly as possible. Next, it's time to start digging. We'll need a soil sample, about a 2 kilogram sample of the actual subsoil that would be exposed during construction. We'll let you know the best way to get that sample to us. For an existing site, you can also provide us a water sample from a runoff pond that's already in operation. Those samples are taken back to GeoCert, our independent and world-class testing laboratory. We'll assign each sample with unique laboratory identification to keep accurate records of your site throughout the entire project. Firstly, we'll do a bench test to determine the optimum chemical dose rate. A bench test tells us what treatment chemical is going to work and what ratio of chemical to water volume is going to be the best fit. We're trying to determine two things: the chemical that's most suited to the application and the lowest amount of chemical you can use to achieve compliance. Once that dose rate has been determined, we'll take all the information you provided about the site and create the chemical treatment management plan. The CTMP is basically a detailed interpretation of the laboratory results and will tell you how your plan will best be applied. It also includes details around the project and site, important information such as spill contingency and all your maintenance and monitoring requirements. It could be a rainfall dosing system like a porta flock or a flock shed. It could be how to batch dose or shock dose as it's sometimes called. Or it could provide parameters that you can use in a lamella clarifier or something similar should you have electronically controlled treatment equipment on site. It will cover contingency management and other monitoring requirements. It also provides tools and forms to use for monitoring records and system maintenance. As an example, for calculating rainfall dosing applications, the setup charts will tell you all the parameters you need to know about sizing your systems according to the environment you have on site. If you have a certain percentage of land open, for example, you only need to size your systems a certain way. Done correctly, the setup charts will tell you that information. Our easy-to-follow CTMPs also include support instructions that can be kept with the systems to make setup and maintenance easy to understand. Once you have received the completed CTMP, you can submit that to Council. The council may have some monitoring requirements based off the CTMP, but let's assume they're happy and have signed the CTMP off. You'll put excavators on site and start forming treatment ponds, but you'll also need some treatment systems. In a lot of cases, that will be Portafloc, which is our rainfall dosing system. Our expert, John Tomset, whether in person, video call or by phone, can offer training to everyone on site, showing them the best practices around Portafloc setup and ongoing dosing maintenance. This will also provide assurance to council monitoring officers that your team can deal with the system themselves. Our support doesn't stop there. If you have issues, perhaps you need to resize your catchment area or there was a large storm, for example, you can use tools like the rainfall dosing calculator on our website to help clarify what dosing rate needs to be used. Or just call us and take advantage of our team's world-class resources and expertise. We'll help train you and your contractors to be self-performing on site. We're industry compliant, providing certificates of compliance with New Zealand's drinking water standards. And just remember, we supply the full range of components and consumables you'll need to do your testing. If you're after PAC or other chemicals, we're a world-class provider. Our PAC is made and tested here in New Zealand. We have a wide range of consumables, including clarity jars, turbidity meters, pH measuring probes and strips. You can find these on our website or our ESC brochure. And that, in a nutshell, is the Cirtex CTMP journey. If you have any erosion and sediment control requirements, we're here to help reduce the impact infrastructure has on our environment and help keep our water clean.